It seems like Disney has completely lost the plot. They no longer care about telling a good story or even making money. If they did, they'd listen to the ongoing outrage from their fans. Instead, they are pushing an agenda that's unnecessary and, honestly, pretty dumb. Disney used to be all about making movies we loved. Now, everything Disney makes has an agenda, and if you don't like it, you're labeled all sorts of negative things. It's really sad, especially when it comes to old sagas that we used to love, like MCU or Star Wars. For example, the new Star Wars trilogy was not well received. And it wasn't because of some anti-woke sentiment. It sucked because it was poorly written. But instead of taking our criticism and improving, Disney decided to double down. The next big Star Wars film is a Rey Solo movie, despite all our complaints about this character.
I bypassed the compressor.
And they've picked a director, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who was handpicked by Kathleen Kennedy. Now, Sharmeen is a Pakistani female director, which is great for diversity, but...
I'm not sure if all of you know this, but I'm not a trained filmmaker, so I never went to film school. I went to Smith College and did my undergraduate and studied economics and political science like a good Pakistani girl. And then I did my graduate studies, but also in international politics, and so I am an accidental filmmaker.
She openly admits she's an accidental filmmaker with no formal training in film. And you know what? Not every filmmaker has to be film school graduate. I'm also not educated in complaining on the internet, and I'll still do it. But it's Star Wars we're talking about, a franchise worth billions of dollars. So what is she offering that got her this important role? Apparently she's more of a political activist with an agenda to... Again, she will describe it best.
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable. It is important to be able to look into the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that. And recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable because you need to change your attitude. And it's only when you're uncomfortable, when you're shifty, when you have to have difficult conversations that you will perhaps look at yourself in the mirror and not like the reflection.
Her agenda is to make men uncomfortable. This is the person that, according to Kathleen Kennedy, is the best choice of a director for the next Star Wars trilogy. And okay, Star Wars fans come from a diverse demographic, but some patterns are evident. The fanbase is predominantly male, with about 60 to 65 identifying as such, while around 35 to 40% are female. So is it really the best strategy to attack over half of your fanbase before you even start shooting the movie? Plus, if your goal is to increase the female fanbase, attacking men doesn't really seem like an effective strategy. We can all coexist as fans of Star Wars. Every girlfriend that I've had so far loved Star Wars. They went to the cinema with me every time there was a new movie or a remaster being played. So, apart from some feminists who maybe can get excited for that, most women I know watch movies for the good and entertaining plot. So, what's the goal here? I don't know, but men are not the only group under attack by people from Disney. You also don't deserve to enjoy their movies if you're white, apparently.
When people watch The Hate U Give, what do you want them to walk away with? Because I know everyone has a slightly different feeling.
Well, I mean, white people crying actually was the goal.
This is Amandla Stenberg, the actress portraying the main protagonist in the newest Star Wars show. And if you think, Stenberg? That sounds rather white, doesn't it? You would be correct. Her father is Danish and very much white. And this video is from 2018 when she was promoting the movie The Hate U Give. So Disney had plenty of time to do their research on her activity in media. Okay, so people found out about it and she faced a huge backlash. I mean, at the end of the day, that was a very racist comment. So what was her reaction? You think she apologized? She admitted that she was in the wrong and it's not cool to wish someone to cry because of their race? Actually, she played the victim and recorded a song about it. And I'm not gonna play it because although she said she wants people to respond to it and show their reactions, she's copyright claiming each of those responses. But it went something like, you say I'm racist, but I don't care about it so much that I recorded a song about it. My father is a rich white man, and I work for the biggest media company in the world, but I'm so oppressed and I'm a victim, and you're too stupid to understand how it works. And also, she recorded this song as a response to all the negative reviews and, 14% score on Rotten Tomatoes. And the general message was that fans are racist and sexist, because the acolyte tells a story of a female black protagonist from a lesbian tribe of witches, but that was not the problem for most of us. It was just a bad show. I feel guilty because I watched the first episode 3 times because it was so boring that I couldn't focus. And also I think she forgot that she works for Disney, the company who decided to delete black person's face from a poster in China. So who's really racist here? And let me bring up another video that resurfaced lately. It's a video of a senior vice president at one of Disney's companies who admits that they are not hiring white people, and they're not even so secret about it.
There have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
And it's crazy for me that this kind of discrimination against some people has become so obvious and acceptable. But actually, I'm kind of glad that it finally did, because seeing it more and more everywhere, it exposes the problem and lets us see the scale of it. It proves that this is a real issue. It's bad when it comes to media companies. But imagine you've had some health issues. Would you prefer your doctor or a surgeon hired based on their education, skills, and experience, or one who was hired based on tokenism to fulfill some diversity standards? I mean, she or he could be the best surgeon in the world, but you wouldn't know that, because that wasn't the reason they were hired. And Disney is not the only company admitting to this issue. Lead designer of the upcoming Black Panther video game, that's from one of Electronic Arts studios,
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
proudly said this during the conference.
So, who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team.
Oh, and why is that?
I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me.
I mean, I know some people who agree with what she just said. Yeah, I know some people who had just the same mindset. But thankfully, it is illegal in most countries to make employment decisions based on someone's race, whether they are black, white, Asian, or any other race. But I always try to find something optimistic. You've watched it this far and you deserve to be left with some positive message. And this time is the fact that we start seeing signs of Disney falling from its grace. I mean, they're kind of getting what they deserve. Their stock is plummeting day after day. Even the industry, other Hollywood studios, they no longer fear Disney like they used to. And the best example would be the launch of the next Rey Star Wars movie. Apparently, Warner Brothers announced they want to release the Dune Part 3 on the exact same day. And those are similar movies. They are both space operas, and you know very well which one I'm gonna see on December 18th, 2026. Looks like Disney will have to move their premiere. And normally, launching any blockbuster movie on the same day that Disney is releasing Star Wars would be a catastrophe for the other studio. Just listen what Disney has done to Quentin Tarantino.
We were going to play at the Cinerama Dome on the 25th. We were going to open there and play there exclusively for 2 weeks. And Star Wars was going to play the 2 weeks before us. And I grew up in Los Angeles, so I think of the Cinerama Dome as a real big deal and imagine seeing it at the Cinerama Dome.
Means something to you.
Exactly.
Right.
Disney, who owns Star Wars, decided, well, you know what? Maybe we want to play throughout the entire holiday season. And not, so we're going to go to the Cinerama Dome and say that they can't honor their contract with us to show the Hateful Eight. And the ArcLight people that own the Cinerama Dome said, no, you can't do that. We have a deal with the Hateful Eight people, and showing it in 70, that's what we do. We have the 70mm projectors. They didn't have to move them in. That's the thing. We even start off with the Cinerama logo at the beginning. As of yesterday, Disney came to the ArcLight people and said, no,
Wow.
You are going to play Star Wars in the Cinerama Dome for the entire holiday season. And if you don't, if you honor your deal with the Hateful Eight, we will not allow you to have Star Wars, the biggest movie in the world. We will not allow you to show it at any of your ArcLight movie theaters.
Oh. So in your mind, that's petty because they've got a big blockbuster on their hands.
They've got
don't
the
need
biggest movie in the world. We're talking about one effing theater. They are going out of their way to f me.
See? So apparently Disney, who is making flop after flop after flop after flop, is no longer in a position they were in. And what's funny is that we told them. Fans were screaming about what they didn't like about the movies. That we can accept the message, but the good story is the priority for us. When we come home from work and open the Disney Plus app, we don't play your movies to be lectured. We wanna grab a beer, maybe some popcorn, and enjoy the Cars movie for the 400th time. But instead of listening to us, accepting the criticism and improving, they called us sexist, racist, bigoted nerds. And now they act surprised when nobody wants to watch
the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable margin. And are you excited about that?